Hey guys, number 24 here. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the A&K M1 Garand. So I've been using this gun for a while now, and I just wanted to give my honest opinion on it and how the significant flaws I found with it. I've had two of these since I started playing Airsoft, one of the older models, and then another one I bought just last year. This has helped me see how the gun wears over time and what problems occur with it as you use it more. So first of all, let's go into the pros of this Airsoft gun. Above all else, this rifle claims to be an accurate replica of a real M1 Garand, and I can say that it definitely succeeds in that regard. I've had a lot of experience using real Garands, and this rifle looks and feels nearly identical to a real one. All the dimensions are correct, it weighs about the same as a real one, and you can even fit a real M1 Garand bayonet on it if you so wanted to, which I tried, and it does work. However, the one thing that throws the looks off of this rifle is the selector switch on the side of the receiver. Which I'll get into later as to why I think it's a poor design choice. Second pro of this gun is that it is an extremely long barrel, so it's quite accurate. Even with .2 gram BBs, which is what I was using in the gun, the accuracy is very good. With .25s and a 9.6 volt battery, you can effectively counter-snipe people, even with sniper rifles. However, that's pretty much where the positives of this AEG end, and there's some pretty major issues with this rifle, which I'll get into. Alright, now on to the cons of this rifle, and there are many. The first poor design choice with this gun was the decision to make it select fire. I really don't know why there's a need to have a full auto option on an M1 Garand replica. Obviously the real Garand was semi-auto only, and I don't think anyone that is buying this gun is doing it to have a competitive AEG, or at least you really shouldn't be. I wouldn't be so annoyed with this decision if they hadn't chose to stick the fire selector on the side of the receiver, which makes it not so convincing for uses as a prop or historical replica. A much better option would be to put it somewhere discreet, like on the bottom of the stock, like with the AGM MP40 and what they do. The rear butt plate of the rifle, which stores the cleaning kit on a real Garand, is where the battery is housed in this model, and I think this is a good design choice, but the problem is that the springs that hold the butt plate cover tight tend to weaken over time, and using the older version of this rifle, the butt plate actually opened mid-battle several times, and the battery fell out and tore the connector cables out, so I had to fix it, which was an extensive process. This is really annoying to fix, and it really shouldn't be an issue in this sort of thing. And in the end, I actually ended up just putting duct tape over the bottom of the stock every time I used it, and that's kind of what you have to do. Now finally, I want to talk about the biggest problem with this AEG, the magazine system. The A&K M1 Garand uses a 42 round magazine, which feeds from the bottom of the rifle, where the internal magazine is on a real Garand, and that's a good placement for it. That's what all the Airsoft Garands do. However, the problem with this system is that there are constant problems when removing the magazine, and once it's put into the rifle. The spring on the magazine release is extremely weak on the new rifle, and it has completely stopped working on the old one. On top of the spring being weak, the internal catch is already small to begin with. Because of the design, the magazine fits extremely tightly into the rifle, to the point that it is being held in almost completely by friction. This makes it very difficult to remove. On the old rifle, the magazine needs to be essentially pried out, and on the new one, it's somewhat hit or miss every other time when you try to take the magazine out. Sometimes the magazine release works easily, other times it doesn't. And every single time you shoot this gun, the last 3 or 4 rounds of the magazine don't load, and they just fall out the bottom when you take the mag out. And that just gets really annoying, because the magazine's already small as it is. Also, for some reason, the magazines for the older A&K Garands don't work in the newer ones. And I've tried this several times, but you could try to force the magazine into the magazine well, but it doesn't actually feed in the rifle when you try to shoot. And this wouldn't be a major problem, but except for the fact that you cannot... All the new magazines that you buy are for the old models, mainly the ones sold on eBay, which are the ones I've tried to buy. They do not work in the new model Garands. They only work in the old ones. So, because of this, I'm stuck reloading a single mag that came with the rifle during battle, just with a speed loader. And this is kind of a problem. Finally, the magazines themselves are extremely prone to jamming. If the smallest amount of dirt gets in them, they will seize up completely. This happened to me with several magazines, which naturally get dirty from use in the field. You could take them apart to clean them, but it is a massive pain, and should really not be necessary to do after every other battle. So, my opinion. To conclude, would I recommend this rifle? No, absolutely not. Unless you're just buying this for a display piece that you can occasionally go plinking with, it's really not worth it at all. If you want a good airsoft Garand, I would highly recommend that you save up the extra money and get an ICS Garand. These have a much better magazine system that is not, according to what I've read, is not as prone to these issues as the A&K Garand is. Also, I can't speak for the G Garand, but I can only assume that it's better and has a better system than this one. Anyway, to conclude, that's my experience with the A&K M1 Garand. I hope you guys found this video informative, and hopefully it'll make you more cautious when looking for World War II replica airsoft guns. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.